You might be walking right past Hollywood Studios' biggest land. Here's what you're missing. We are taking a tour of Echo Lake today, and yes, this is actually the biggest land in Disney's Hollywood Studios. Bigger than Sunset Boulevard, bigger than Star Wars Galaxy's Edge. It has more to do than any other land in the park. There's ride, there's shows, there's food, there's shops, so much to do. Characters, we're gonna see it all. The vibe in this area of the park is California crazy mid-century architecture. It's some of my favorite theming in all of Hollywood Studios. And I mean that. I just had to second guess myself, but I definitely mean it. The name of the land is, of course, referencing this Echo Lake here, which is a giant oval-shaped pond. Now, here's the thing about Echo Lake is this is actually one of the ears of the giant Haitian Mickey that Hollywood Studios park map actually forms. You can see it on Google Maps. It's kind of tricky. You reach Echo Lake by branching off of Hollywood Boulevard right when you enter the park. It's a really sizable land. It's one of my favorites to walk through. You've definitely walked through it, probably on your way to Galaxy's Edge. But are you actually making the most of this land? I don't know. Let's find out. Here, to start, is the Molly and Quincy bench. There's Molly, there's Quincy, Molly and Quincy bench. Maybe it's not, but we can say it is, and no one can stop us. On the right, as you enter Echo Lake, you will see a billboard with Roger Rabbit on it, but you'll also see PV's Polar Pipeline, which is a little kiosk where you can grab some frozen slushes and just ice cold beverages and things like that if you need them, and they also have ice cream. They have alcoholic and non-alcoholic offerings. And it's a great place to grab a drink, and then if you head just across the way, you'll find a pretty large cluster of shady seating, which Hollywood Studios, you're probably going to need a shady seat at some point, so this is a good area to look. I'm a big fan of mid-century architecture, and they just did a great job of incorporating that in this land. And one of my favorite hidden details in Hollywood Studios is actually on this building here. So you'll see that this is cosmetic dentistry, and they actually have a directory with See How We Pull 'Em, Ruth Canal, and Les Payne. Great names for dentists. If that's your name, you have to be a dentist. It's just a rule. You've also got some serious adventure vibes, which is actually an entrance to one of the stores that we toured in the Hollywood Boulevard tour, so make sure you check that out. Also, in my Hollywood Boulevard tour, I mentioned really liking the windows in Hollywood Studios, and that is especially true in this land. There are a lot of really funny jokes in the windows, or just like really cool theming details. For instance, this one is the future is in your palm, the Grand Astral Marge sees all. I want to go to a psychic in Hollywood Studios. They should offer that. But instead of a psychic, our first stop is actually going to be Dockside Diner, which you'll recognize as this giant steamboat when you're over in this area. Dockside Diner is somewhere between a kiosk and a quick service restaurant. It's going to be in the least expensive restaurant category here in Disney World. And you'll notice that it is in this like open air tramp steamer boat, which obviously I love. We all know how I feel about boats, and that's too attached to them. And this one's cool. I want to live in it, like Donald. It's got a variety of eats, but not like a wide variety. It's mostly the shrimp salad and chipotle chicken salad rolls. And then that smoked fish dip. You can also get the seaside brownie here, which is a super cute treat. Few alcoholic beverages, kids things, and stuff like that. Just a heads up, this restaurant is not typically open until park close, so if you want to eat here, eat early. I actually haven't tried this spot since I got the rolls, so I think I'm gonna have lunch. Yeah. Dockside Diner has a lot of shady seating, and I sure enough grabbed a table right here by the water. I do occasionally get splashed by the fountain, but it's kind of hot, so I'm just gonna let it happen. So I went for the shrimp salad roll. I feel like that's probably the most like iconic thing. Not that any of it's really that iconic, but probably the thing that most people are interested in here. And this is a roll with shrimp, arugula, tomatoes, pickled shaved fennel, and sliced radish, all tossed with a remoulade sauce on that brioche butter bun. So that looks pretty good. And it is served with seasoned house-made chips, which also look amazing. Shrimp roll, cheers. I'm a really big fan of this. It's served cold, which makes it awesome for a hot day like today. I'm already starting to feel more comfortable, like out in the heat, just from eating this. The shrimp is cooked very well. The remoulade sauce is where it's at. That's where most of the flavor is coming from. But then you've also got all these veggies mixed in, which give it this like fresh aftertaste. And I thought the bun was going to be a little too bready, like it's really thick, but it's super light and super airy. I think probably because it's brioche. Pretty good. So I would actually get this again, probably over anything else in this land that I've had. And I have to say, Hollywood Studios really stepped its food game up. Chip time. I picked one that has like a lot of seasoning on it. The seasoning on it reminds me of Old Bay seasoning. It might be Old Bay seasoning. They're a little bit peppery. They're just slightly seasoned. They mostly just taste like salty chips. But they're awesome, like super thick homemade potato chips. They're not overly oily, which homemade chips definitely can be. I got ketchup for these, and I think that's going to make them awesome. So I'm actually really happy with this lunch, especially on a hot day. Awesome, summery, Florida heat lunch. I ate too fast, and my stomach kind of hurts now. So don't eat too fast when you're at Disney World because your stomach will hurt. But not gonna stop me from having fun. We got stuff to see. I love this land. Our next stop is the Hyperion Theater, which I remember most as being home to the American Idol experience, which Molly did. That's true, there's video footage of it, evidence. But now it is the Frozen Sing-Along Celebration, which I always used to walk past as an older teen, and now it's actually one of my favorite shows in Disney World, and I'll show you why. This 30-minute show has the Arendelle storytellers bring you through the story of Frozen. There are some appearances from some special guests and some little surprises and things. The theater itself is kind of like, there's like a snow situation at one point. It is very, very fun, and of course you're singing along to the Frozen songs. It runs for almost the whole day with shows on the half hour, every hour. I think I'm gonna head in and watch the show because it's one of my favorites and no one can stop me from loving it even though I'm an adult. And you might love it as an adult too, so let's go see it. So the reasons I like that so much, even though like I'm not a little kid, I always thought that was going to be like little kid geared, like the Disney Junior show. But the jokes that the historians tell are more geared towards adults. They are very, very funny. And then of course I love the Frozen music, and you've got sort of like the very fun story and the surprises involved. I think if you have time during your Hollywood Studios day, this show is definitely worth doing. It's one of the funniest shows in Disney World. Like many of the shows in Hollywood Studios, Frozen Sing-Along Celebration does have a lightning lane experience. Now, lightning lanes for the shows work a little bit different than lightning lanes for the attractions. You do have to get that lightning lane in advance of the window opening, and there's only one window per show. So you have to kind of time it right if you want to use your lightning lane for the shows. For more tips about that, you can watch Molly's Guide to Using Genie Plus in this park. Well, now I'm going to Let It Go stuck in my head for the rest of my life. Just sacrifices had to be made, you know? But let's check out some merch. Just outside the exit of the Frozen Sing-Along is this little tiny like gift area out here. This is Frozen Fractal Gifts. This spot's probably going to be a must stop for you if you have Frozen fans, especially little ones. They have some pretty great Frozen merch. Let's look. Water bottle. Olaf mug. Figurines. Kids jackets. Kids bags, Elsa's entire costume, princess dolls, and hidden other princess merch like Jasmine. Now our next stop is actually my go-to when I am either waiting for a lightning lane or just boiling hot and I want to get out of the crowds and the sun. Right next door, it's Vacation Fun. Did you know that I'm a poet? So apparently, because I sure didn't. Right past Hyperion Theater, you'll find Mickey Shorts Theater, which is where you can watch Vacation Fun. Vacation Fun is a Mickey Mouse short in the new Mickey Mouse Shorts style. It was animated specifically to come here to Hollywood Studios, and it features some scenes from some of my favorite of the Mickey Shorts. Now, how do we feel about the new Mickey Shorts? I'm very pro. I like the animation style. There are a few things I don't like about it. Goofy. Design I don't love, but mostly I like the new animation style. Let me know in the comments how you feel about the new Mickey Shorts. If you're pro new Mickey, if you're like, give me old Mickey and never show me that horrible new Mickey Mouse ever again. I want to know. I'm curious. Vacation Fun time. Look at little Donald. He's so cute. When you exit Vacation Fun, you do exit into this room that has a couple of photo ops from the Mickey Shorts that are featured in Vacation Fun. My personal favorite is this Potato Land photo op. Potato. Right next to Vacation Fun is Celebrity Spotlight, which is where you can meet the one and only famous snowman himself, Olaf. And the very cute thing about Olaf in this one is that he has gotten an enchantment from Elsa, so he does get to experience summer. So you get to meet Olaf while he experiences summer. Just past Olaf is one of the restrooms in this land. This one is kind of high traffic, but it's not one of the like super busy restrooms here in Hollywood Studios, so it's a good one. I don't mind this restroom. And Echo Lake does extend all the way this way where it butts up with Grand Avenue, which you can see us tour in the Random Lands video of Hollywood Studios. But we do have an attraction here in Echo Lake, and one of the filler attractions, I'd say, in Hollywood Studios that doesn't typically has a wait that's very long. Right now, middle of the day, 5 minutes. Star Tours is a motion simulator attraction that has a 40-inch height requirement. In it, you make the jump to hyperspace while piloted by C-3PO, and I don't know whose idea that was. He is not a very good pilot. The scenes that you'll see on Star Tours do vary. They are randomized every time you ride, so you will see a bunch of different scenes from the old Star Wars, references to the old Star Wars films, references to the new Star Wars films, even references to the prequels. And I really enjoy this ride. It definitely can make you motion sick, but when it has such a short line, if you don't get super motion sick, it's a really fun one. So I think we should take a spin. It's only 5 minutes on Hollywood Studios. Of course we're gonna take a spin. So this is actually the original Star Wars ride in this park. And something that I always like to note about it is that it's set up to look like it is a Star Wars set. So the back of the AT has ladders and stuff on it. You can see some ladders if you're over in the woods over there. And that's because, obviously, with Hollywood Studios, the set was what made sense, so. Star Tours takes you into Tatooine Traders, which is kind of a mecca for Star Wars merchandise. And unlike Galaxy's Edge, the merchandise in here can be branded. You can get a shirt that says Star Wars. You can get a Lego set from Star Wars. And you can build a much cheaper lightsaber and droid in here than over in Galaxy's Edge. So this store is definitely a must visit for any Star Wars fan. Grogu headband, Grogu hat, very cute Grogu spirit jersey, Boba Fett's helmet, figurine, Star Wars art, and signed print Jedi Stitch. These land tour videos are hard on me because I go in merchandise shops that I haven't gotten in a while. And then it's like, do I spend $70 on a spirit jersey? I bought the overalls for my Sunset Boulevard tour. No matter where you are in Disney World, make sure you keep an eye out for PhotoPass photographers, especially if you've got Memory Maker for your trip. There are some really cool photos to be taken. Right here, there's even one that makes it look like you're standing on a little planet with a big AT-AT over you. Our next stop is one of the largest food and dining locations, or quick service food and dining locations in Hollywood Studios, Backlot Express restaurant. It's also much more similar to the original theme of Hollywood Studios, like this whole land is. You got classics here, burger, chicken strips, Southwest salad. They have a teriyaki bowl, which if I hadn't had my very delicious shrimp roll earlier, I probably would be getting. But let's go take a look around. This restaurant is actually a favorite of many. The food is pretty good, if basic. Tons of shady seating, indoors a little bit and a lot outdoors. So lots of places to sit down and rest for a while. And if the food's good, it is. And also, they've got a treat here that's pretty iconic. I'll show you. As you can see, it's themed to be like a backlot work department. There's like a paint area here with seats around it. Mobile order is offered at this spot, and it is home to the famous Wookiee cookie. See tons of seating in here, and it's super fun to look around and see like the prop vehicles and stuff and signs. It really looks like you're backlot on a film set, which is super cool. There's the Wookiee cookie in all its glory. 2 oatmeal cookies, that chocolate strip for the Wookiee belt, and then just that nice cream in the middle. Very, very popular. One of the best cookies in Disney World. And the best place to sit in all of Backlot, in my opinion, is back here over in like the sculpting department, where there's all these sculptures, busts. There's a figurehead from a boat. This land in general makes me very nostalgic for old Hollywood Studios and GM Studios vibes. Obviously, I love Hollywood Studios as it is now, but you kind of feel, it feels like the good old days in here. So where a lot of parts of Hollywood Studios, it's impossible to find a table, let alone a seat, there have been like lots of open tables, shady areas all through Echo Lake today. So it's definitely the land to head to if you need a little bit of a break. with all the air-conditioned shows, and of course, just tables easy to find, a ride with little to no line most of the time. It's a good place to be when Hollywood Studios gets overwhelming. So though this land does have some like standard snack carts and drink carts, it also has a few kiosks that are exclusive, like Oasis Canteen. Now this place has a couple of specialty drinks such as the Lost Jewel, Snake Alley, but it also has a full bar, and just next door is Epic Eats, where you can get funnel cakes, soft serve ice cream. They have a root beer float, which is what I would get if I had to pick. Funnel cakes make me so sick. And the funnel cakes here are loaded. There's one with strawberry topping and soft serve vanilla ice cream, one with cookies and cream and soft serve vanilla ice cream with golden cookies. I mean, seriously, loaded. Our next stop is another one of my favorite shows in all of Disney World, the Indiana Jones Epic Stunt Spectacular. Now, unlike the other shows we've seen today, this one is outside. And it's about 30 minutes, but it is very, very cool. It's a stunt show. If you're like me and you miss lights, motors, action every single day that you wake up, this is probably the closest thing you're going to get to in Disney World right now. Just a very cool stunt show, even though there are no cars. And definitely no well, no, there are explosions. I think there are exploding cars. It's pretty close. Make sure you're checking times on the My Disney Experience app when you get there in the morning if you want to see the Indiana Jones Epic Stunt Spectacular. For instance, the last time I get to see one today is 4:30. The show basically takes you with Indy and Marion as they go through like their own epic stunts, and then you also get to kind of see some behind the scenes of those stunts. It is very, very cool. There are some amazing stunts in there, amazing effects. The sets are crazy. I highly, highly, highly recommend this show if you have the time. This is probably my favorite show in Hollywood Studios. It's the only one I like regularly make time for out of all of them, which is saying something because there's a lot of really great shows here. Warning, do not pull rope. You should pull the rope then, right? Nothing appears to be happening. I think the fella who's fallen down there might be sleeping right now, but give this rope a pull. Give this rope a tug if you're in this area. You might hear a little something special. Who would I be if I didn't give you the Easter eggs to impress your family with your knowledge? This whole area around the Indiana Jones show is really fun because it's got that kind of like exploration vibe, which is very cool. Big note for the Indiana Jones show is that you are seated on benches, so it's not exactly the most comfortable seating. If you have issues in seating like that for a long time, keep that in mind before you go and grab your seat, but obviously you can leave at any time if you need to. So maybe go see just a couple of stunts, just a few. The Indiana Jones theming doesn't stop when you come out of the show. You've also got sort of this like camp over here that goes with some of the villains you see during the stunt show. It's a whole tank. There's a tank in Hollywood Studios. You can just come look at this tank. And you'll see this kind of closed area if you do kind of stroll up over here, which was kind of the Indiana Jones themed merchandise shop. You could literally buy a whip here. It has not reopened since the 2020 park closures, but we'll be keeping an eye out for it. It's certainly an interesting merchandise location. I knew I loved this land, but I'm having such a great day. It feels like nostalgic Hollywood Studios over here. Now, I haven't mentioned this at all, but you might have seen the dinosaur that sits in Echo Lake. I'll explain. So this is Gertie. She is very pretty. She's breathing. I can see some smoke coming out of her nose. And it is a tribute to Gertie the dinosaur, who's one of the first well-known animated cartoon stars ever. All the way back in 1914. Isn't that wild? And yeah, you can see more about that California crazy architecture I talked about with Gertie here. Now Gertie is just an ice cream stand like Dockside Diner. Don't expect it to be open until close. And you can get some like Mickey ice creams and then also just regular ice cream as well, soft serve. So definitely worth a stop if you need some cooling down. It's also just cool to buy ice cream out of a dinosaur. I don't know. I'd also say to keep an eye on Gertie around the holidays. She does take on a very festive appearance around the winter holidays. And definitely this area of the park is a great place to be around that time. Whoa, those ducks made huge footprints. Oh, those are probably Gertie's, aren't they? Wow, when Gertie walked over there, she's so heavy she cracked the pavement. Our next stop is my favorite themed building in this land, which is this 50s mid-mod situation. It looks like a super cool house. I want to live there, but it's actually 50s Primetime Cafe. 50's Primetime Cafe is a table service restaurant. It's $2 signs according to the Disney website. They serve lunch and dinner here, and it's going to be comfort food favorites, most notably the amazing, amazing, amazing fried chicken. And I also have a really fond memory of green beans here, but I'm like super into green beans. The most notable thing about this restaurant is it does have cast member antics, where your cast member waitress or waiter will be your cousin, and that person will make sure that you're minding your manners in the same way that like a 50s family member would. So make sure that plate is clean, napkins in lap, elbows off table, or you might get yelled at. My friend Breedlove does not love this restaurant because it does make him feel a little stressed out to get chastised, but it's part of the fun. Another thing I really like about this restaurant is that there are TVs at some of the tables. You can sit at a booth that has like a TV playing old 50s TV shows, so it's very much like a TV dinner, which is a super 1950s thing. Super, super fun restaurant. I definitely think it's a must-do once, unless you really, really hate the idea of someone jokingly talking to you about your manners at the table, but that's part of the fun. It's very immersive. You're immersed in the 50s. Galaxy's Edge 2, get immersed in the 50s. And then I think there's an often overlooked spot tucked right next to 50s Primetime, which is the accompanying lounge, Tune In Lounge. This is a full bar, and they also, of course, have some very fun 50s themed drinks. I think we should head in. It's hot out. I could take, look, it even says refreshing drinks on the wall. I could watch the TV. Let's head in. Looks like you're in a real 50s house. I could sit here watching this tiny little yellow TV for a really long time. So I opted for the Dad's Electric Lemonade since this is kind of the staple drink here. It's made with Svedka vodka, Bull's Blue Curacao, sweet and sour, and Sprite, served with a souvenir glow cube. It's a pretty classic Disney cocktail, though you can pretty much only get this one here and in 50s Primetime. It's probably going to taste pretty similar to most other Disney Blue Curacao Sprite cocktails, but still should be pretty tasty. Definitely electric. Also, I'll add that there's like no one in here. The vibes are immaculate. It's got a full bar. There's air conditioning, comfy seats with like cushions, and TVs playing old TV. Why would you not take a break from your Hollywood studio stay in here? Let's try out the drink. Cheers. Okay, that's better than I was expecting, because typically the Disney Blue Curacao drinks kind of just taste like dulled down sweet and sour mix, which is not my favorite. This, however, does have more of a lemonade-y vibe to it. I'm a vodka drinker. You can taste the vodka in this, and I'm not getting a heavy flavor of that Blue Curacao, which is pretty good. Because sometimes it can be overpowering and that sort of like artificial flavor to it. Like I can taste it in here, but not the like artificialness. I actually probably get this again. It's not my favorite thing I've ever had. It's not my least favorite, but it's definitely fun that it's themed to the restaurant. And it's got a glow cube, so pretty good. All right, that was a delicious drink and a lovely break at Tune In. And now we only have one more stop, but I have a few windows to show you in the meantime. Like that one that just says no actors at the office space for rent, which is so funny. I wonder how my friends Lindsay and Jared Bradshaw feel about that. They're actors. And then you've got another immersive window there, the Happy Dance Studio. But my favorite window in all of Disney World, I know, sorry Main Street, is right here. It's Eddie Valiant, Private Investigators, with, sure enough, Roger Rabbit's silhouette in the blinds. This is a direct callback to Who Framed Roger Rabbit, which is a movie that is very formative for me. I love this detail. Put it out to your family. Feel smart. Don't tell them where you got it. You can steal it. I'm giving you official permission. And you can find that window just above Hollywood and Vine, which is a pretty cool restaurant here in Hollywood Studios, and it is a character dining location, the only one in this park. Hollywood and Vine is open for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. It is $3 signs on the Disney World website, so it's on the pricier side, but still not too crazy. It's about comparable with other character meal pricing, and it actually has 2 separate character meals throughout the day. So by morning, this restaurant is Disney Junior Play and Dine, which is a Playhouse Disney characters character meal with Fancy Nancy, Vampirina, Doc McStuffins, and Roadster Goofy. Super fun for those little ones. I'll also note that for all of the meals, we have noticed an improvement in some of the food quality, but it's still not necessarily the reason you come here. You come here for the characters. By lunch and dinner, this restaurant becomes Minnie's Seasonal Dine, where Minnie Mouse is the hostess for various dinner parties throughout the year. And a lot of times that includes her friends Mickey, Donald, Daisy, and Goofy, and we've even seen Pluto from time to time. As you can see right now, it is Minnie's Springtime Dine, but it does change throughout the year. It starts with the Silver Screen Dine, then the Springtime Dine, then Summertime Dine, Halloween Dine, and then Holiday Dine. The really cool thing about the mini dines is that they do have different costumes for the characters, different vibes for the whole party that's going on. It's a super fun character meal. If you want a character meal in Hollywood Studios, it is your only option. So definitely something to look into if that's what you're looking for. I've had a lot of fun here in Echo Lake today. Make sure you like and subscribe if you did too. And now go watch my tour of Sunset Boulevard. See you there!